Welcome to my channel. Today I'm really excited to be doing another yoga workout with you. I really want to focus on my back today. It's been so sore, so we're going to do a nice, long, deep stretch together. So get your yoga mat ready and let's get started. Start by rolling out your yoga mat and then find yourself in a comfortable child's pose. Here you can begin focusing on your deep breathing. Inhale and exhale. Take a moment to process what it is you want to get out of today's yoga practice. Today my focus is to really lengthen my lower back. What is it that you want to work on? Now slowly transition to the cat-cow pose. We're going to inhale and look up at the sky and arch your spine. And on your exhale, bend your spine and look into the floor. Repeat this a few times to get the best stretch possible. You want to focus on every vertebrae in your spine, so make sure that you're looking up to the sky and really arching your back each way, both times when you bend. And by giving deep breaths in between each pose, you're really going to stretch yourself to the fullest. When you're ready, slowly transition back into child's pose and find yourself comfortable and continue your deep breaths. Now prepare to go into downward dog and lengthen your back as much as you can. Bend your knees if you need to make sure that your back is as flat as possible. The goal is to touch your heels to the floor, but it's not always possible when you're not super flexible. So keep practicing this every day and you'll get there. By bending your knees and lengthening each time, you're actually going to be stretching out your back more and more. So this is a really good practice to ensure maximum flexibility. Now we want to focus on the full mobility of your spine. So find yourself back in child's pose, adjust if you have to, and we're going to begin stretching our spine. Reach your arm under your body and stretch your upper arm to maximize the twist of your spine. Repeat this pose on the other side to balance out your spine. Now sit up comfortably and reach your arm over your head, twisting around your thigh and reaching your other arm around your waist. Focus on straightening your back as much as possible while you twist it for maximum mobility. And of course, repeat this on the other side. Make sure to find a few deep breaths in this pose to relax yourself. Next, I'd like to transition back into the extended puppy pose to lengthen my spine. The goal is to raise your hips to the sky as much as you can while straightening your back. Continue with your inhale and exhale to really deepen your stretch, and you can adjust your hips if possible. What I like to do is extend my knees and open them up. And you don't always have to reach back to the floor. Just do what you feel comfortable doing in your body. When you're ready, transition back into a seated position so we can begin stretching our upper back. Reach your arms up to the sky, point upwards, and arch backwards. And now do the reverse by pointing down to the floor, arching back, and looking behind you as much as you can. These upper back stretches are really going to help with any pain or tension you might have in your spine. Now I'll show you from another angle just how high you want to reach up to the sky when you arch behind yourself. Try to look backwards as much as you can, but don't hurt yourself, of course. And now I want to focus on stretching the side of my waist, so reach up to the sky and reach over for a nice long stretch, and repeat this on the other side. I like to do this a few times to really make sure I get the best stretch possible. Next, I want to work on strengthening my spine, my hips, and my glutes all at the same time. So stand up and reach to the floor and do your best to hug your legs as much as you can. If you need to, bend your legs to give yourself a more comfortable stretch. This pose is really great because it's going to strengthen and lengthen every vertebrae in your spine. Each time you bend and straighten, you should find yourself more and more flexible. Our next pose is the revolved lunge, so get into a deep lunging pose. Reach your arm up to the sky and look up as well. This is really going to twist your spine while opening up your hips and your glutes. Use both arms in this pose to get the maximum stretch possible. From our lunge, we can transition into the next pose. Drop your front knee to the floor, reach your arm up around the sky, and grab your foot. I love this pose because it gives my arms a nice deep stretch, and I also get to twist my spine while I do it. And then return back into the other side and repeat this pose. Toward the end of our yoga practice, the poses are going to get more and more difficult, so I like to give myself a moment to sit down, relax, and just wiggle out my shoulders, give my arms a stretch, and just focus on my breathing. During my yoga practice, I don't want to overstretch my spine, so I always return into child's pose and give my back a moment to relax. When you feel ready, transition into cobra pose. Arch your spine up to the sky and look as high as you can. If you can, try to look behind you. If you feel like you're ready to advance to the next pose, lay down and repeat this, but try to touch your feet to your head. It can be very difficult and it's something I'm still working on, but with each yoga practice, it's going to get easier and easier. You can see that my spine just got so much more flexible because I gave myself a moment to relax and retry the pose. But see, practice really does make perfect when you're doing yoga. Whenever you're overarching your back, you always want to return into child's pose to give your back a moment to balance itself out. Here, I always like to continue stretching and twisting my spine by reaching my arm underneath and just focusing on my deep breathing. You can always take your other arm and place it behind your waist for a deeper stretch. And of course, repeat this on the other side. Today's yoga practice has made me feeling more flexible, so I really want to test out my flexibility in my spine by trying out a back bend. Before I do my back bend, I raise my hips to the ceiling and give a nice deep stretch. The trick here is to point your hips up to the ceiling and extend your arms behind you. This way, all of the pressure is actually on your back and spine and not on your hands, because usually your hands actually assist you in these stretches. I also like to grab my feet and continue the stretch by focusing the pressure on my hips, pointing them to the sky. And when you're ready, you can prepare to go into your back bend. Put your hands behind your head and press your hips up into the sky. To get an extra stretch, raise your heels up and have your back bend only on your tippy toes. This is absolutely the most flexible form of back bend that you can do. When you feel like you've completed your back bend, slowly and carefully lower to the ground and then just lay comfortably in shavasana. Hug your legs to your waist and roll back and forth to balance out your spine from that deep arch. I like to finish my yoga practice in the most comfortable shavasana position. Allow yourself to lay here and just focus on your inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, slowly sit up into a comfortable seated position where we can finish our inhaling and exhaling together. And now that we've come together to breathe, this concludes today's yoga practice.
Wow, I'm feeling so relaxed after that workout. I hope you're feeling just as good as I am, but you want to make sure you're always getting in the right nutrition after every exercise. So make a smoothie, get some coconut water in or some electrolytes. Your body is going to thank you later. You always want to make sure that every exercise you do, you're following with some nice nutrients for your body. This will make sure you don't get sore the next day and you're keeping nice and fit. If you want some more health tips like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting yoga videos all the time and I would love for you to join me.